what is really great about that is it helps you map out, be the best leader you can, and then realize that you don't have to do it by yourself. Like, yes, in your leadership role, you might be, if you are the owner of the company and there's nobody else, you are the last line of defense, right? Like, if you're like me, I'm a personal brand, like my face is everywhere. And of course that comes with responsibility, but that doesn't mean I'm by myself or I'm completely isolated and I can't ask for help and I can't be supported. Right. And it's what I really, really learned. Like I said, I learned this the hard way, was like creating the second time round, like strong peer groups and strong mentee relationships, right? Like I made sure that those ones were balanced out so I could be in my leadership role the best I possibly could be. But, and like I'll give you some practical examples so you can see how that worked for me. And there's no right or right way of doing this, by the way. This is something that's why I put together the worksheet the way it is. Everyone's different, so you want to do whatever feels like right to you. For me, that meant doing things like, my first company, when I used to just work. That's all I did. I didn't have a personal life, right? That's why I was successful very quickly, but all I did was work, and I wasn't enjoying my personal life. I didn't have a personal life really anymore, and that's not really what I wanted. Again, there's no right or wrong on doing anything. It's just I realized that's not what I wanted, because I wanted to work, and have a successful business to be free and enjoy myself and do lots of things. And I wasn't doing that. So for me, I realized later on, I was like, okay, if I'm going to be the best leader I can be and really serve people, I need to also spend, time enjoying myself. And that includes like spending a lot of time with my peer group, like my best friends that I can just, best friends, my family, that's the most important thing to me in my life. So just spending time with them and having it scheduled, right? And making it a priority in my life. Other things as well, like having a strong peer group around other people that I admire in the industry, and that, sometimes just catching up with people. Again, nowadays it's so easy with Facebook groups. You can find people all over the place at a similar level to you. And again, if you just want to, people that you like, that you hang out, like to, you look up to, that can give you a bit of inspiration. And, that's an example, for example, for your peer groups, things that you want to put in place that help you be a better leader. And the final one is like your mentee roles, right? So this one was really hard for me because I was really bad at asking for help. And, and this included, I've hired, you can hire, coaches to work with you directly if that's something really specific you want to work with. It's included for me just, I do a lot of self-study. Again, I'm self-taught pretty much on everything. And like I said, I love learning as well. So I'm always, reading books or doing new courses, or like I said, hiring a coach to train me into something where I become the student, right? And again, it's a very different, for me, that works really well in being a better leader, because I feel like this person is already great at this. All I need to do is I'm learning, and then I can go into my leadership role, even stronger and even better and with more, skills. But it also includes just sometimes, asking when I'm feeling really shit and I have a lot, my fears or insecurities are really getting out of hand, like calling one of my best friends, and just, even if she doesn't understand, right? Like I have a lot of my personal relationships, they're not in the same industry as me, but I can still explain and tell them what's going on and just have somebody listen. That is, again, a really great way for me to deal with my negative emotions, and it not just to, like I said, push it down, but actually let it out. And as soon as I let it out, it tends to transform itself anyway, right? Most of you probably know, as soon as we actually just say out loud even a problem, it already doesn't feel as scary anymore as it did before. And again, you don't always need another person to be that mentor to you. Do you mean you can even be yourself the mentor? You can have this relationship with yourself. And this is for me a daily practice, like doing things like journaling and mindset work and having a spiritual practice and doing meditations. Like all those things for me, again, are really, really crucial in getting rid of all those fears and insecurities. Like when I'm feeling really stressed, just journaling for a few minutes actually means I get rid of them. And then when I step back into my leadership role, like even doing like a live video like this, or doing a video, or getting on a client call, I am in a much better situation. Do you mean I can show up genuine with the energy that I want to portray, rather than just pretending to. So I hope that helps you guys a little bit. Do you mean just to give you a practical example of how you can use your peer groups, how you can use other people, and even, like I said, like certain practices you can do yourself, so you can actually be a much better leader. Because I think the biggest, and let me know if that makes sense to you guys, and I'll have a quick read as well if any of you guys have any questions. But that is, like I said, I think the biggest thing that most people struggle with, which is leadership means we have to do everything by ourselves. Like we have to take on all the pressure, all the, do you know what I mean? Like the responsibility, and we have to carry like literally like the weight of the world on our shoulders, and we don't have anybody that can help us, and we can never slip up, right? Like we have to always be perfect. We also have to show up with a positive attitude. And like I said, it is important to do that because you want to honor the people that you serve, right? I never, like I said, I don't do a video like this if I'm feeling really shitty. It's my responsibility to go away and, like I said, talk to a friend or do some journaling or do some whatever I need to do so I can step in with from a positive place, but doing it properly, right? Like going to the root of the problem rather than just covering up. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. And if you've got any questions, feel free to jump them in. I'm just going to quickly go through the comments here. What did Tally write? That evil critter brain loves to fill my head with all the negative thoughts. Yeah, exactly. That's I love that, Tally. And that's exactly the thing, right? Like our minds are always going. And I think the more responsibility you've got, right, the more your insecurities are going to show up. I actually believe the more money you have and the more successful you are, the more, that's the really beautiful thing about money and success, right? The more it's going to amplify your fears. Like I used to, you know, I remember when my first company I built, like I worked so hard to hit a certain financial goal because I thought in my head, I was like, once I hit this goal, I'm going to feel financially secure. I'm like, there's so many things that can go wrong, and you know, I'm going to be protected. And I actually hit that goal like really, really quickly. The thing is, though, you know, despite what I believed, it was actually the reverse that happened. I actually became more insecure and more fearful because, like you said, it's nothing to do with actually the money in the bank or how successful or the awards that you've achieved. I achieved all those things, but it's an internal thing. If it's made, like that's the whole reason why I hate, you know, not hate, but like I really try and like help people not build your confidence on fake it till you make it. When you fake it till you make it, you might make it, but you don't really make it because you're going to feel like a fraud. You're going to feel like you're going to feel fake, right? Because you didn't actually deal with the fears. You just kind of bulldoze over them and you just push through them, which, like I said, you can definitely achieve things that way. I'm a great example, and there's many examples in the world that do that. But it's, if you really want the happiness, if you really want the joy inside, which is what I think all of us are after, it's learning to deal with that mind, right? Like actually recognizing what that mind is going, you know, talking about, and ripping it out rather than just pretending it's not real. And Tally said as well, our mental and physical health cup is empty, we can't pour into others. Yes, that's such a great comment. And I totally agree, Tally. If we don't, this is always the metaphor I use as well. If we're not full, we can't serve others. And that's why those roles are so important, right? Like use your peer groups and your mentee groups to fill your cup, because that's how you generally can show up for other people. Again, I always say you can't give what you don't have, right? So that's like the real realization I came up to. I let this happen. I went through such a bad place. I had nothing to give anybody anymore, and I really had to kind of start all over again from scratch to build myself back up. And I had to like leave the company that I built with all the people that I absolutely loved and adored, but it was just because I knew I didn't have anything to give to them anymore. You know, like that's the problem when we don't take care of ourselves. And, you know, like I said, I've done this the real wrong way to be able to teach you, you know, about this today. But it is, you have to make sure that you're, you know, self-love, be understanding who you are as well. Not everyone is the same. I might be different to you. I always share this to people, not that people should copy exactly what I did. That's why the way I've put the exercise together is it allows you to do it in whatever way you want. Like look at those groups for yourself. Maybe the way I do it isn't going to be right for you, right? Like we're all individuals. And again, being a leader is really about being authentic. It's about being creative, and it's staying true to yourself, because nobody can lead in the way that you can.